Once again, oh, you know what's crazy? Sometimes I'll forget that I have a mic and that I have to keep with it. Okay, because I was getting ready to make a whole speech, and I was like, "Damn, something missing." The mic. Yes, y'all. To the beat, y'all. This is episode 4. Now, if you see me like just looking down at something, because I'm taking notes. It's a process. Okay. It is the main character podcast. Me, I'm the main character until other main characters tend to show up, and then it's a J Stars event. All right. Um, I am trying to do this like 100 days straight. Okay, but I ain't do nothing yesterday. Um, depression is a depression is a bitch. Like depression sucks. Like it's like some days like I I deal with it, but it's like some days like depression hits you with like a nice little jab, and then some days that nigga hit you with one of them haymakers that make you gotta fall back for a minute. I didn't even go work out yesterday. I uh I stayed home. Of course, I follow this routine where I'll get up, I'll drink like I'll drink dog. I'm bad. I'm good at math, but I'm bad at math. If that makes sense. Like I'm good at math where it count, but I'm bad at math where like you ask me some random shit. I think what am I thinking of? Like a, a pint? I don't know. Just I drink a lot of water, right? I drink a lot of water, and then I'll have like a hot cup of tea before I go to the gym. Go to the gym. I don't eat nothing. I don't eat no breakfast or anything. I'm trying to stay with intermittent fasting. So I basically like as soon as 12 o'clock at midnight hit, I try my best not to eat no foods, no heavy foods. If I get like a snack or something, it's like light crackers or something like that, or vanilla wafers. But I only eat those. But otherwise than that, I don't eat no food, nothing that sits heavy until about 4 p.m. So it works because by the time I go to sleep, it'll probably be like 2. I probably wake up at around like 10 or 11, drink my water, get my tea. Because by the time I'm not ready, brush my teeth, do shit with this, which I still got to find some place to like braid my hair. I have like some type of social anxiety to a point. So it's hard to go just go to a new place and have to talk to new people. It's a struggle. But um I do that, and then by the time I go to the gym, I'm in the gym for like an hour and a half or 2 hours. And by the time I come back, it's already 4. So that helps me along with not eating like throughout the day. Like I know it's like calories or something throughout the day, but I like the intermittent fasting because it takes like 8 hours to fully digest, and then 12 hours some scientific stuff happens. I don't remember it verbatim. I just know it's good for you if you go that route. And I've been so used to this that now it's the only way that I like to do things. But yeah, the person yesterday, I just had water, whatever rice and like vegetables I had in here, and like some chicken or something, and then just that's it. Like I play Helldivers with my peoples. Um, tried to write, but I still couldn't. Like writing is really a hassle for me. That's like I want to do it, but it's like pulling teeth. It's like pulling your own teeth. You pull somebody else's teeth, it's just like okay. You pulling your own teeth, forget about it. But we fight through it, right? Depression, no matter how big or small the issue is that makes people depressed, we still have to acknowledge the fact that it is depression. And one of those things that I hate, like I hate the fact that like people will they'll look at certain parts of your life and be like, oh, why are you depressed? You got, and they'll put like a laundry list down of things. It's just like, you got all of this. How could you be depressed? Like, dog, within them things, there could still be minute details that because of depression makes it as big as that list. And that's what some people don't get. They don't get like depression. isn't something that you can just see on the outside. Like you can't spot somebody and be like, oh man, they're depressed. They're super depressed that easily. If somebody's just sad or something, they could be sad about something, but they wouldn't necessarily be depressed. A lot of people out there be happy, smile, but that's just like the mask we put on to get through the day because we don't want people to ask us questions constantly. Like, oh, why? Because if I got a deep dive and deep delve into, like, if I just say like depression is just like written on my face, then you get a million questions. And then with those questions come answers. Then with those answers come research within yourself. And then you're pulling up so much that it's starting to put you down this rabbit hole of depression. Which I know it's not healthy. You have to talk about it, but it's just certain times like you know what it is. You know you just need some time to yourself to just like just feel, and then certain days you'll be good. Certain days it's like, yo, just leave me in the bed. Like I don't want to eat, or I don't want to do nothing. I don't even want to get out of bed. I just want to watch TV maybe, or just go to sleep the whole day. Um, but yeah, that's a major thing I want people to know is like you cannot pinpoint who's depressed, and then you cannot dictate how someone can feel depressed about certain things. I don't care what they have. You hear it all the time. People people who don't have a lot of money be one of the happiest people ever. The people who got the most money in the world be super depressed to the point where like they start doing crazy stuff. Like it's just one of those things. Depression awareness. Hey, you matter. I matter. You matter. We matter. Um. Hey, look. Hey, listen. I'm learning. All right. I gotta. You can't see it. I got a little notepad to try and get some order into the way I cover some topics. It's gonna help out in the long run. The next one is the J. Cole apology later on because again, from the drop, like when I saw it, when I heard it, sorry, when I seen it, I'm trying to correct that. I'm trying to correct the way in which I say words appropriately. But when you say so, when it's been so ingrained to you to be like, yo, I just saw that. Like, I just seen it. You saw logs. You seen something. But when I seen that and I heard about it, I understood immediately. If you were a J. Cole fan since the mixtapes, all the albums, following it up, since before he had these like before he had the locks, like you would understand when he said that. It's like, all right, cool. I get it. There's, oh man, he's a bitch. He first off, I dare you say that shit to that. I dare you say it to his face, first off. You won't. You won't. Y'all can't even stand up and be eye to eye. So you can't even be eye to chest with this dude. Pause. But um the apology, like people have so many critiques, and you got the people like the fans just like, yeah, but you're like, the man in me, yeah, but man, the hip hop fan in me just, oh, I just wanted to, nah, because as soon as Kendrick said this shit on the like that, it wasn't even a diss. It was just like, nah, it's not a big three. It's just me up here. Like it's me. So that's no diss. People blew it up because of the internet, and it was just like, oh man, he's got a beef. He said, fuck them niggas. So it's a beef with both of them. Like, nah, it's the same type of shit. Kendrick comes out of the rabbit hole every now and again and says some shit where he beats on his chest and says, yo, I'm number one. Goes back. It was a control verse. It was him talking about, yo, he king of New York. He's saying this, he's saying that. To his, you know what I mean? To his defense, people step up, but it's just he don't entertain it, or he'll entertain it and then people just overlook it. I think Big Sean gave him like a couple of jabs back or like address some of the stuff. People were just like, we're not trying to hear that. Y'all who sleep on Big Sean, Forget y'all, because he knows how to rap. But yeah, y'all wanted beef. Y'all wanted niggas to throw punches, forget all the friendship shit, fight lyrically to the death, which you already know. Once niggas gotta like pull some dumb random stuff out, then it goes beyond rap, and then after like either friendships are ruined or whatever for the sake of y'all entertainment, y'all be like, oh yeah, and then like when some more serious stuff happens, but man, we didn't want to go that far. You know, I'm one of the people. I want to apologize now. Like, nah, it's not worth the energy. And especially if you've been like me, I'm at peace right now. So any dumb shit that happens, I'm like, you know what? For my peace, bye. I run into it every now and again. I'm like, nah, I don't need to worry about that. Bye. But yeah, because he's been friends with Drake and Kendrick for as long as he's been like making music. And that's been a long time. What is it, like 14 years now? So they all was kind of coming up around the same time. So he cool with both of them. It's just Drake got sensitive when Kendrick made the Control verse. Pretty much where it stemmed to like, yo, he got super sensitive. I'll say that. That's the part I didn't like. Like he got super sensitive about that. It was like, dog, it wasn't that serious. That severed. But still, J. Cole, like he the middle child. He already had something called middle child. And it's facts. He's a middle child, just like he's in between, both friends. And I understood when he was like, yo, like I almost got into this moment that didn't sit right with me. And you're not talking about the rhymes that he said where it was like, oh, when I call his rhymes whack, that was I couldn't just sleep saying that, To Pimp a Butterfly was trash. Cause y'all really wasn't talking about To Pimp a Butterfly like that. So I got it. But it wasn't even that. It was the fact that it was all damn. He got to get in this mode where he has to beef with somebody that he was close to that could potentially ruin that friendship. Because fuck rap, they probably know each other on a different level. Probably met wives, probably hung out, which more likely did hang out. Probably met each other's kids. Like, come on, this shit's deeper than rap, and for y'all entertainment is not worth it. Because I would have said fuck y'all too. Like, no, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that. Like, you know what I mean? I jumped the gun, and sometimes we do that. And him on his journey to like being completely at peace and just rapping his raps, yeah, I'll apologize too. Especially like where else, like for you to be like, nah, I'm not gonna put in a tweet for all my peoples out here, and which majority of the time is also Kendrick's peoples, which is also Drake's peoples. Like, yo, what I did was whack. It was whack because I just came out with some stuff to like just say some stuff to be, you know, because that's what I felt like I needed to do. But it was something where it was more like the public was forcing me to do something. And he was going down that rabbit hole of trying to appease the public again, trying to do stuff that's not really him just to get into like the fans' good favor or something. Come on. So I've always been with Cole anyway. And out of those three, I listen to Cole the most. I listen to Cole the most. I listen to Drake second most. And Kendrick, um, he's an artist. Kendrick is an art. He's an artiste. So you're not gonna play his stuff. I will give him that. You're not gonna play his stuff constantly. You're not going to get his tracks constantly. But I don't want to listen to an encyclopedia constantly. He'll give you some joints that's like upbeat, everything's cool. It's like, okay, this is cool. But then like majority of the tracks, like a lot of people, when they listen to, like I do this with most people's albums. Like I'll have a good 4 tracks I can go back to, and that's about it. All that other shit, I do with Kendrick, I do with Drake, I do with J. Cole, even though 2 of his albums, nah, 3 of his albums. Yeah, 3 of his albums, I'll just play it, let it go straight through, no problem. Drake, probably Yeah, Drake probably a good 2. Kendrick are probably a good, if you count. Nah, yeah, I'll probably do a good 2. Um, but yeah, listen, being a man over being in some rap beef, because you see where that's going to, and plus that wouldn't have been a good rap beef anyway, because Cole and Kendrick live kind of the same lives, except J. Cole is more in the public because he does a lot more features, and he's giving you. He's in between because you got Kendrick who will give you. I say Kendrick will give you quality over quantity, and Drake, like it or not, will give you quantity over quality per se. Cole gonna give you both. He gonna give you quality and quantity. And you can tell by the features he's doing. He been killing all his features, and then he been doing good on his albums too. So come on. And all the all the rappers that tried to come up and just like, oh, I'm getting ready to send shots at this. Go ahead and try. And especially with Kanye West, trash. What he's done was what Kanye West has done has been cool, but after a while, his albums have been down, and he's you know what? I just hope he gets the help he needs. That's it. Yo, that's it. And that I listened to Kanye for a minute, and it's just like to see what he does, see what he's doing, and like the music direction that he's going into. Because you do want artists to change in some way, but at the same time, when they go like, you tell an artist when they're driving their careers, right? You tell them like, yo, every now and again you take the same route. Like, yo, just take the scenic route for a little bit and see how that is. This dude Kanye West will take the scenic route to a whole nother town and be like, dog, this ain't. We didn't want you to go there. We wanted you to go to the same place. Just take like, take a smaller, different route. Like, don't get too crazy. He gonna be out there in West Bumblefuck, Wisconsin. um, man. All right, we gonna. I like to do. I like to do a little Doctor Strange portal. Switch it to. I've been watching Go Go Lose Ranger. So 5 on anime segment. I've watched 5 episodes. I still got to watch Delicious in Dungeon. The first 5 episodes of Kaiju number 8, because officially 5 episodes have been out now. Fire, heat. On a scale of gotta see it, see it when you get the chance. Don't see that shit. You gotta see it. Kaiju number 8 is good. Kaiju number 8 is starting off really well. And the other one is Go Go Loser Rangers. It see when you get the chance, because these 5 episodes, I still have to finish. I'm almost done with the 5th episode, but what essentially is, if you don't know what Go Go Loser Rangers is, it's like it sounds. It's a play on Power Rangers, but it's a twist. Like they're almost this time it's like flipped where it's like Mighty Morphin Power Rangers and the putties, like if the morals were kind of switched. So like Power Rangers are the bad guys and the putties are essentially the good guys. And they're trying to make they're trying to take down the Rangers. And there's one, it's like, yo, if you had that one dedicated putty and he's doing his damnness. And not only that, but they have, so the loser Rangers, what they have is they're the main ones, and then they have those that are training to take their spot one day. So for like each color, for red, blue, green, yellow, and pink, like they have like people below them that are training to one day become that head ranger. So with that, of course, you got different personalities, and then you're gonna have a thing where it's like, yo, you might have some people down there that are like, hey man, they not doing a good job in this role. I'm thinking stage something to kind of get them out that role. So you got to worry about protecting your spot. You got to worry about this other thing. The putties are like, listen, they live, they can't die. They're weak, but they can't die. However, the Go-Go Loser Rangers, they have specific like divine weapons that if they hit them with that, that's how they kill them. But it's like what was that? Is it Kingdom Come? Where there's so many like superheroes and like all the crime is done and they still don't have anything else to do, so like shit starts going left. It's like that with the Loser Rangers where they pretty much got rid of the main monsters that they were going against. But once you do that and you bring the world to peace, there's really no need for you. And then when there's no need, you're not really, because after a while people be like, oh yeah, that's the ranger, and then like later on it'd be like, oh, that's the rangers. Then like, yo, who are you? Like, oh yeah, I did that thing back in the day. Cool. So to keep in the eye, they have the foot soldiers that technically don't die. They just dissipate and then reform back into their stronghold, or just dissipate and then reform back with their body. And they have it confined to a space where the monsters will emerge there, the Power Rangers come out. They do like a whole like um medieval times. If you've ever seen it or you ever been there, medieval times. Monsters show up. One of them shows up as like some type of even bigger monster, puts on their show for the Rangers to come through, take them out, and then it's pretty much rinse and repeat. So it's a cool concept. Like I said, it's not like wow or anything, but it's definitely cool. It's mostly cool because people have been asking for this. I don't know if you ever you ever seen the film, not film, what was it? It was like a short film. It was about the Power Rangers, but it was a Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, but it was like after. It was like, what were they doing after? And somebody was actually coming after each one and killing them off. They was trying to figure out exactly who was behind it. It was like this whole dark thing, but then you had some of the like original ones. It was just like, oh, it's a it's a kids thing, so I kind of don't support the whole putting a dark theme to Power Rangers, this and that. It's like, dog, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, okay? Like, ain't no kids right now watching Mighty Morphin Power Rangers because that's what they did. They made like, yo, make an adult Ranger series for the actual like Power Rangers fans that are grown up now. Like, make some, or you know what? You know what they're gonna have to do? They're gonna have to make their own Super Sentai, like, but for adults. Like, call it a different name. In fact, there's this comic book that I don't know if I have it because it's like he has like a black hole for a symbol on his chest, and it's almost Power Ranger like. Ah man, I don't have it. I thought I did too. I'm looking over at my geek corner. I wonder if I could um in real time, because I'm not gonna hold you. When I gotta look up something, I'm not gonna be like, oh, let me cut this out and then cut back. Nah. You gonna get this real time search. Because what it is it's like he has like a black hole in his chest. He gets selected by it. So he's almost like playing this superhero role. And it comes, well, his suit's all black. So he's got this power. And then later on, he comes to find out that there's like someone with the same type of suit that has a different color. And then next thing you know, he runs into other people that have the same type of suit, but a different color, and they have a different power set. And it's almost like Power Rangers. I've only had the. I think I used to have that first issue. It might be with some of my stuff back in Jersey that I got to go get. But yeah, stuff like that, like that. Um, Common Rider. I've been meaning to get. I've been meaning to get into. Common Rider is definitely one of the ones that I want to. I don't know where to start it exactly, but that's one of those Power Ranger S type transformations. They got something going on. A big bad shows up. You got to transform, get it going. Follows a cohesive story, but it's got good themes to it. And the one thing like Power Rangers, listen, Power Rangers is cool, but you can tell they're starting to run out of ideas. You're gonna get either when Power Rangers come up, they're gonna be dinosaur themed, um, dinosaur themed, animal themed, some type of ninja or samurai, and then some type of vehicle. And it's just gonna go like that. Most of the time, it's gonna be like that. Sometimes they combine both of them. Sometimes they come out of nowhere. Like I think Time Force was different. Lightspeed was different, and Power Rangers in Space was different. But Common Rider. The fun thing about Common Rider is when they have like these like belt transfer. They have like these they're like Gucci belt times 10, where they have some type of, it's like if they have the morpher in hand or they have like the morpher card in hand, and they'll put it on their belt and like slip it into a slot somewhere, and the belt will say like on or like transform or something, and their transformation will be like this whole little CGI movie type thing. And when they transform into their armor, it fits the theme of it. So like there was one of the dopest things that I always remember in Orange. What happened was old buddy, he slides the card in, and when he presses down on the knife, like the circle symbol for the orange, it cuts down to it. And when he transforms, it's like suit goes black, I think some gray, and then there's a big orange that comes on his head, and then there's something that slices it. And when the pieces fall, they fall and make the shape of the rest of the armor. Like it's dope. You had that. You had one with a spider web where like the web like shot over the person, and then that leaped onto the design of the actual suit. Kamen Rider's fire. Like I'm about to be a Kamen Rider stan because their stuff is fire. I need some. I'm gonna get. I'm gonna be one of those ones. Like I might get some. You know what I mean? I might get some figures. All right, I might. I got a thing with figures. Uh, Cause that's a lot, especially when you got to move. Especially when it's because it's literally just me. I usually move everything myself. Next time I got to move out of this apartment, like hopefully not until like not until like what like 24, not until like 2026. Hopefully, then I can leave. But that's a lot of moving. So I'm gonna hire a moving company, small one, to help me out. Um, but yeah, I wanna get some more like some figures. I'll talk about some of the other things I collect. But this is the part where I gotta somehow fit this video. Because it only gives me 30 minutes. Yo, it's killing me on this. I'm gonna find it. I need help on finding a way to record my videos on something different so that way I don't have to do 30-minute segments. Or I just gotta stitch it together so that way it works. And I'm telling you, I'm gonna make that I'm gonna make that little like transition thing for how they do Full Metal Alchemist. I'm working on it. I'm figuring out what exactly I gotta draw. But what else? What else? What else? Back at it again. Uh, yo, where's my pen at? Because when I be having to cross this stuff off, you know what I mean. The things I collect, I'm gonna start is albums like vinyls that I like so far. I got like Kid Cudi, Man on the Moon, Forest Hills Drive. I got Good Kid, Mad City. I got that 24 Karat Gold album. I also got a Cowboy Bebop album that plays like some of the jazz music that was in there. Also got a is that Golden Wind? JoJo's Bizarre Adventure album, vinyl. And I have an actual record player, but it's a piece of shit. All right, I should have known because it wasn't cheap, but it was kind of cheap. And like I can't, it'll play, but there's nothing. We have it now to where we can let these like skip to the next song. It don't want to skip to the next song. It's either you play it all the way through or you cook. So it's pretty much taking me back to 1940. I'm not in 1940. I don't want that shit. Okay, nah. Um, but yeah, that between that, I collect cards every now and again just because I don't want to miss out. Like years from now, when maybe they stop doing when they stop doing collectible cards like TCGs, or if they keep it going and it's like, damn, this card back from 2023, like this is one of the rare ones. Like, oh shit, I got it. I got I got the Charizard. What's that? That Digimon, Magic the Gathering. Magic the Gathering is a whole nother ball game. Listen, I downloaded the app to play the game. I haven't done it yet because I actually did try it before back in 2021. So it gave me a whole bunch of packs that I could look through. And I just know for a fact that when I play online, I'm gonna get eaten alive. I do like looking at the cards and the card art though, and like the little stories with the flavor text that kind of I'll cover it in some, because writing stuff is up next. But yeah, that a couple of what I mean, the comic books, and then a couple of like hardcover volumes, more so just for me, just because I like having them, and a couple of books that helped me with my writing process, like how to write science fiction and fantasy. What else I got? Like examples of short stories because I do want to get good at short stories, like short story writing, before I actually do like bigger books. Or if I my you put it out there. My dream is to either work with a comic book company to help develop story. Like I don't like I'm like the idea man to an extent. Like I can't flesh it out that much, but I can give you like the idea and then see if you can run further with it. And then I can give feedback off of that. Like a back and forth off of that. Like I remember when they were talking about how Stan Lee, whenever he would describe certain stories or certain aspects of like characters back in the day, he would almost be like acting it out as if he was them. And that's kind of how I am. Like I get animated when I describe some. It's like, oh, when he comes through here with the sword, slashes him just like this, but then he holds himself together long enough so that way he can get another attack off. Like I'm doing that. And it's just it would be good to have a back and forth with somebody else or a couple of people in a group and we're all on one cohesive project to try and do something. Like I'm working towards being a writer. It always sticks and it is gonna stick. That's my creative excuse me. That's my creative direction. But yeah, like I have different writing books. What I don't think I collect anything else pretty much. Maybe a Funko Pop here and there. I don't know how people do it when they got slightly jealous because they be having a wall like this whole wall that you see right here. Like they be having a whole wall of Funko Pops. And the only thing I'd be looking at that, I'd be like, dog, that's a lot of moving. Like you gotta be somewhere where you're gonna be for a long time and that you don't feel like moving that. Or you gotta have a house where you know for a fact that you're not going anywhere else. You staying in that house. That house is getting passed down. And you plan on probably selling those Funko Pops at some point. Um but yeah, that's it for collections. You know what I mean? Switch it up a little bit. Speaking of writing, the one thing I've been dabbling here and there is fan fiction. I never used to get fan fiction, and once I was using it for an exercise. where I'm like, dog, I have these ideas, I don't know what to write. And it just like with drawing, you want to at least like, if you don't know what to draw, like just randomly, just draw anything, no matter how small, no matter how big, just draw something every day so you get used to drawing. And that's how I was with fan fiction, with like writing every day, or at least for me, writing something in a longer format so I get used to writing stories in a longer format. And since I like DC Comics so much, I started doing like I'm stuck in like a fantasy. It's so much easier to do magic and fantasy stories, right? Because you'd have to create ways. Like there's no cell phones, there's no fast cars, no airplanes. There's boats, but they're not like yachts or speed boats or nothing like that. So in a way, you have to invent in like, if your story would take place in like the 1100s or something, you have to invent ways in which people would be able to get somewhere faster with magic. So that it's a cool thing to use magic as technology. So like if there's no cell phone and you're in one township and somebody's in another township in your fictional story, you can create a magical messenger bird that repeats your message, or mirror portals where you can talk to people, um, teleportation spells, like stuff like getting creative like that. Like that's where you can really get creative at. And plus with superhero stuff, it's like now in 2024, and I mentioned this before, if you were to become a superhero, it's impossible to keep your secret identity. Twitter is so fast. Between Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube, the conspiracies and like DNA forensics we have, it's so much stuff where give it a good, like somebody pops up on the scene as a superhero, cool, but give it a good month, they're gonna know your identity, they're gonna know who you've been with, they're gonna know your family, and then it's up. Because once supervillains know that, they're coming to target everybody. And depending on what type of person you are, you might die, so that way they die. And then the supervillain winds up, getting you and getting your family and everybody else. So, but when you can write a superhero, I guess that's the challenge though, to try and like have something to where, and I'm kind of doing that with the comic book like universe that I'm writing, because it kind of takes place it's a fictional America where I'm going to have like fictional cities set in, like there's a fictional one in the West Coast, one in the East, one in the South, like where Texas is at, and then no, I think I have two. I have about two on the yeah, I think I have two on the West Coast because of technology. I have a place I call Westlight City. There's the East Coast, there's East Light City, and then there's some Spanish city that I put in Texas that holds like a whole MMA thing. That I'll talk about that in like another podcast episode. But yeah, when it comes to fan fiction, at first it was just like, okay, it's exercise. But then I actually started getting, like, I've gotten to Superman, Wonder Woman, which my short story was titled The Wondering Woman, The Superior Man, In a Flash, The Emerald Knight, which that the fact that Green Lanterns can also be called like Emerald Knights fit perfectly. Dark Knight. Um, what else? I think I titled it The Darkest Night. Um, and then I think the magic of Shazam. Like I was just doing like those top six. I still wasn't getting to Aquaman yet, or because with mine I was gonna make him a pirate or something, and then Martian Manhunter. Of course, you can make something with that. What almost stopped me, or kind of stopped me, was the fact that when they came out with the They came out with one that was like that last year. I have, I think, seven of the comics where they came out with like a medieval like DC universe that involved Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman. It had a nice twist on who Green Lantern was and who the Joker was. Batman turned out to be a bastard child of Clark's father. So Batman and Superman in that story were super sons. So that was a dope concept. But I was like, you know what? I can still tell it my way, and it still be unique. And what else in my fan fiction? My fan fiction, I did one called Super Sons where it was Batman, but there was also Superman's Superman's ship landed in their front yard. So it landed in Thomas and Martha Wayne's front yard just as they had a baby. So they kind of adopted it, raised it up, and then when they noticed the powers, it was kind of like Superman took this route, Batman took this route, and like Superman had like his sort of like symbol of yo, like I'm this shining, what is it, like this shining symbol, and then Bruce is more of like whatever you can get up top, I'll get below. So like you be the you be the white knight and I'll be the dark knight in a sense. Oh, what else? And then I also have one that I'm trying to work on, right? Where it actually has Batman, but he's aging. You know these characters, they don't age. So I was like, yo, like what if they had this, but they had it follow the same way that manga does, where they age up their characters. Dragon Ball Z, there's Dragon Ball. Even in that, Goku aged up a little bit in there to the point where he had like an adult type form. You had Dragon Ball Z, they aged in that, and even now they have Dragon Ball Super, aged up even more. So something like that, to where Bruce starts out same way, sort of comes back, but he's actually aging. Like he gets his first Robin a couple years past, that goes away. Then he gets Jason Todd, still getting older, still learning stuff. Then he gets Dick Grayson, Jason Todd. Why am I forgetting this? Oh man, this is bugging me out because usually I get Dick Grayson, Jason Todd. Nah, this is killing me. You know me. You know me. So I gotta see, yo, it's gonna kill me. Um, Batman's and watch. I'm gonna look at it and I'm gonna kick myself. Nah, Barbara Gordon, Jason Todd. I know about Tim Drake. Damn. That killed me for a minute. Tim Drake. Because I was gonna have the whole Jason Todd thing happen, and then Tim Drake happens. Because Jason Todd in the story he dies. Tim Drake happens, but then it sort of comes back to an older Bruce Wayne that's trying to do better. And then after something happens and like he just has no Robins, it's back to him kind of like, yo, I need to be by myself. But then you get that, I want to say almost Batman Beyondish point to it's an older Batman now. And Batman's usually spry, but he's not like Superman, where Superman ages slower and still has his power. Batman, he's gonna need like some type of suit that helps him out. And then I want it to be the one where like he kind of does go through that point, even when he's with Damien and he's at this older place, but he's like 60 years old, but he's got this like 13-year-old son that he's trying to essentially, do things with and raise. And I had it to where Damien, he does what he did in Batman Beyond, which he didn't to an extent in the Batman Beyond universe. He really didn't like Damien didn't meet Bruce because this was going off of the animated series. Damien didn't meet Bruce per se, but he probably met him for like a short time. He didn't do the whole Robin thing. It's just he stayed with the League of Shadows when Ra's al Ghul died, and he tried to turn into something else. So in my fan fiction story, I had it like that, and Batman just kind of doing his best to try because it's like it's him, and he knows his time is coming where he can't really do this as much anymore. And he's got this super suit, and it kind of goes the same way in Batman Beyond. He's getting ready to turn the guns. He's like, no, I'm tired. I'm getting ready to shoot everybody. He's like, man, if I'm going to this, I've lost my way. Takes a break, but you got Terry McGinnis that comes in. But you'll have the other like Red Hood and everything. For I just gotta develop it. Somebody else may take up the mantle of Batman. Um One of them may come back to like give him pointers or something. And it's just a work in progress, but fan fiction writing is actually like how I was just going off with like talking about um the different ways in which I have Batman growing up and like how the other Robins are coming through. Like that's the fun in it, where these characters, but you also know enough to take them in a different direction and see like what you would do. I think that's how a lot of these people get put on. Like a lot of the comic book writers, they'll either do a project or they'll do fan fiction. And if the fan fiction becomes popular, then somebody will notice it and be like, "Hey, they know what they're talking about." And they'll get noticed, be like, "Oh, do you want to write for us? Well, we got this going on." And so if I can get into that, fire. But off of that, because I got like what, maybe 13 more minutes I want to before I wrap up this whole hour long podcast. Video game fall offs. Switch it up. Video game fall offs. No, it's not just you. Video games, yes. From I think I'm old enough now. Could be considered to consider one of the OGs when it comes to video games because I've been there. I've played Atari because somebody had an Atari system and it was old, but it wasn't like crazy old. It was just like, oh, this Atari system came out then. I've played the SNES, Super Nintendo Entertainment System. I've played the big brick Game Boy when there was no color to it. The Sega Saturns, the Dreamcast, the PlayStations, you know what I mean? The original Xbox. Like I've played all of these. And what it was, there was a boom of so many ideas where it's like, oh, video games, we got a story to tell that you could put in a video game. And it was so broad. And the graphic comparisons between one console to the next was a huge jump. Super Nintendo Entertainment System. What's crazy with the Super Nintendo Entertainment System, the huge jump was the fact that you could start putting that stuff on Game Boy. And that was in your pocket. So you could carry that. You didn't have to have it plugged up to a TV no more. You could have it in your pocket. And then Game Boy Color was like, yo, now you can start to see some of the colors on these things. We were like, yo, like, it was like when people first started watching TV and then they were able to watch color TV. So I Love Lucy was no more black and white. I think they still had it in black and white. There was like a time where like they actually put the show in color. Or Bewitched when they first had it. I know I'm going on crazy over shows, but this is the only way I could describe it. Bewitched when it first came out, it was black and white. And then later on, they started having the shows in color. You're like, oh, that's the color of their hair. That's the color of their clothes. Like, that's what it looks like over there. Like, oh, that's the color of the flower. Like, that's what Game Boy Color was. And then when you got to from the Super Nintendo, you got to the Nintendo 64. Oh my god, Nintendo 64. You're playing Mario 64 for that first time and seeing him in that way, in that 3D way. Yo, that shit was like, oh man, there's no way they got this. And then what was it? Yo, PlayStation. PlayStation was already fired because of how they had like the polygons and the pixels and stuff. But man, when when PlayStation 2 hit, it was somebody had just texted me about something. When PlayStation 2 hit from PlayStation, it was enough of a jump where it was like, damn, like I ain't never gonna stop playing the PlayStation. PlayStation 2. PlayStation 2 was golden. PlayStation 2 had the hits. The best Dragon Ball Z games was on PlayStation 2. Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom Hearts was on PlayStation 2. It was PlayStation 3. But nevertheless, PlayStation, the jump from PS1 to PS2, fire. The jump from PS2 to PS3, out of here. I remember getting the driving game and on the PlayStation 3, well, between Kingdom Hearts, which was a beautiful game, best game to this day. I love Kingdom Hearts. I got some racing game. It was like off-road racing and like city racing and all that, but the graphics where you would drive in the mud and the mud would sling around underneath the car and the car tires wasn't polygons, like they looked like actual wheels. It was like, yo, like this is the future of gaming. Yo, when Xbox 360 came out, when Gears of War came out, Gears of War, the Call of Duty started coming out on that. Out of here. That was like seeing, that was like putting on the red and blue 3D glasses for the first time and like watching something to where it looked like it popped out on the TV. It was like, oh snap! Like yo, how, it was like when people first discovered fire. Like yo, what sorcery is this? Like, yo, what's going on? That's what, and it's like that was the peak. PS3 and Xbox 360. The back and forth you could have online with people. It was a lot of racism to an extent, but at the same time, it was like, yo, you get past the racism and it's just like, yo, you talk at the Call of Duty lobbies, peak. The games, the ideas they had that was spreading out, just straight fire. And then once you got to the Xbox One and the PS4, don't get me wrong, it was cool. It was a nice jump. It wasn't as grand as the PS2 to the PS3. PS2 to PS4 was just like, okay, it's a little more shiny, a little more polished, a little more smooth. And you still had enough games. You know what I mean? They were still like branching out with the ideas or something. But then from the PS4 to the PS5, and the same thing with the Xbox with the Xbox One to the Xbox Series X and S, it wasn't that much of a jump. There's more space on there. It looks a little bit more prettier, but otherwise than that, there wasn't nothing super significant that it like moved the needle crazy. It was just like, oh, okay, it's another console. Like, oh, you got this game or something. Now we're just like, yo, this looks like I could have played this on PlayStation 3, or this looks like I could have played this on PS4. You could have saved the whole system. I wasted money. So it's like there's a fall off between consoles. It's almost like cell phones. The iPhone, when it first came out, it was just like, oh shit, I have an MP3 player and a cell phone in one. You guys are madmen. And then it was like, yo, we're gonna replace the casing. We're gonna put a camera on here. Let's go crazy and put two cameras on here. You was like, oh, we got two camera lenses. What are we gonna do with that? And then it was like, hey, we gonna turn it up a notch and put three on there. Nigga was like, yo, I'm a movie director. I got so much cinematography ideas. Like, and people were shooting movies off of it. They're like, yo, what if we put four on there? But then it started to get to the point where it's just like, oh, we're just changing the CPU in there. you know, the what was it? The IA5 or something, IA4, IA2. So, yo, we can change the casing just a little bit. Oh, we're gonna change where the power button is at. We're gonna change the cable. Like after a while, it stopped. Like it went from going like this to kind of going like this. Like you're damn near flatlining, like to the point where you don't need any more cell phones to be invented. To an extent, you don't. But they want to make their money like that, so they keep tricking us in a way, and we keep buying into it. But that the fall off of video games is not only that, not using the technology to the fullest is what it's supposed to seem like, or probably having no reason to, but we're getting games that are, it seems more like before, you got your bang for your buck. Like you got the whole thing. And now it's like we get half the thing for the full price of something that's supposed to be whole. We're getting half, and then we're having to spend more on the other half. So we're damn near paying double for a video game that's already supposed to be delivered to us whole. That's not supposed to have too many. Like if you have a certain amount of bugs, cool, but you're just playing. You're doing trial and error with us in real time when you could just get gamers that will give you the truth. Stop getting the popular ones. Get the ones that actually play the game through and through and will give you the truth to help you and your companies do better. Or you run ideas by some games actually know what they're doing, storytellers that know what you're doing, and they'll tell you no, it's a bad idea. You're gonna lose money. Before you lose money, so it's a mixture of that. It's the console not making too much of a jump. The games, like their IDs are starting to run out. They don't know what to capitalize on, and even stuff like Call of Duty. Like Call of Duty, you couldn't get me off of Call of Duty on PlayStation 4. You still like it was to a point where it was getting kind of crazy, but you still can get me off Call of Duty. Now, I don't. I think the last time I really, really, really played Call of Duty was like 3 months ago. Before that, it was like 2 months before that. It has that first month thing where it's just like, oh, this is cool, and then falls off quickly. Cheaters, nothing much in the game, held back by the same number of guns, where we have over the years enough guns to where we should have a myriad of choices to choose from. We should have like 40 different guns from the jump, maybe 50, and then you just give us some surprise ones. Put some kits on it, do something. Oh man. But that was my rant about video games because it's something I care about. Uh, but that is it for this episode 4 of the Main Character Podcasts. Telling you, like, subscribe, share. I need to make clips so I can get them on TikTok. I'll figure out how to do that. But thank you for watching if you made it this far. I know a lot of people won't, but that's cool because there's always time. These videos will always be up here for you to go back and go, hey, where did he get his start off at? Right to the originals, okay? And plus, I can see how I evolve from the first time I do something all the way until, let's say, like 100 videos from now, because that's my plan to do 100 videos. But thank you for tuning in. Stay fly. Remember to not let depression get the best of you. Give depression the middle finger, even in the mirror. And don't forget, the key to success is drinking water and minding your business. That's how people stay young. That's how people stay safe. Okay.